why you don't want me to ask that either. This is
because I'm sick of saying the same thing.
Fair enough. This is Mark Yates, then pre-Torquay. Mark, we're standing outside. You haven't got a coat on. You must be glad the weather's warmed up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Looking forward to getting on the grass again. Looking forward to getting back to work and trying to make sure we do everything properly. Planning for Torquay, tough game. Probably the form team in the country at the moment. You know, we've had that mantle. So it's going to be a tough game, a good game, two decent teams, and just got to go and make sure that we get back to doing what we do well. And if we do that, then like I say, we'll give anybody a game.
And as well as the weather's back to normal, presumably Whaddon Road hasn't taken too much of a battering.
No, I think so. I believe the game was called off at the weekend. You know, a bit of frost in the ground still, but it should be perfect. You know, Terry's got the covers on. He had the covers on. They're off now, and it'll be lovely. It's not about, you know, we want to play on decent surfaces, of course we do. But it's not a big thing. We're looking to make sure that we get it as good as we can because we want to play football. But you know, so do Torquay. So glad the weather's changed and turning for the better, hopefully, because it does disrupt you. You know, you wonder whether your game's on. You wonder whether wherever you got to go and train sometimes. But so you have to deal with it, and we've dealt okay with it.
And only having had the one postponement, well, you've not got fixtures stacking up like some other teams have.
Yeah, of course. You know, you can look at it both ways. You know, we've got points on the board, and you know, we're top of the league. Yeah, sure, teams have got games in hand, but you know, it's getting tight up there. We know that. But you know, our thoughts haven't changed. We always knew it was going to be tough. You know, we've been on a tremendous run. We've just not picked up as many points in the last couple of games that we would have liked. So it's, you know, back to work and just keep doing what we do.
And you mentioned how tight it's getting. Torquay, their run has taken them right up there with, well, within 3 points of you.
Like I say, they've been on a fantastic run. I think the points haul from something in the last 14, 15 games is phenomenal. You know, they've just 8 games unbeaten, 7 of those wins. Last 3 games 1-0 at home, all of them. The 3 before that, 2-1 away from home in 3 consecutive games. Really good side, we know that. Really good manager. You know, Martin's been around a little while, and he knows what he's doing, and he's got his players obviously buzzing, and they're enjoying it. But you know, they still haven't got as many points as we have, and we can't worry about that. We've got to make sure that we just, you know, tomorrow we go and perform. We work as hard as we can do. We get back to something how we want to play. Last couple of games haven't been how we've wanted to go about it and performed. So, you know, there's always room for improvements, and we're looking for that now.
I'm sure the second half at Hereford was much better than the first, and then it was better than Crawley's. Or how do you impose your game on an opposition?
By doing the ugly stuff, owning that right to, and you know, managers talk about headers and being competitive, and we, you know, in both games the opposition have started better than we have, and we've got to get back to making sure we're competitive, but also making sure we express ourselves like we have done all season, and keep trying to play our stuff, keep working our socks off for each other, for the team, and you know, we'll pick up points.
I suppose the thing to do is just to keep doing what you're doing with the same mentality, rather than thinking, oh no, we're top.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be top, and there'll be, like I say, we'll be knocked off it sometime in the next few weeks, I'm sure, or might even be tonight, you know, with Southend. So it's tight up there, and we've just got to make sure that we look after ourselves, make sure we're at it every game, and the next one's the most important game of the season, always, and that certainly applies. It should be, like I say, 2 teams playing decent football, and us looking to get back to our best form.
Injuries? How's Steve Elliott? Have you got any dates for him yet?
No, he'll be on the grass again today with a physio, and we'll see where we go. He's progressing well. He's pleased with it. He's not feeling it, but it's just getting him back into playing football out there on the training ground. And you know, we won't rush him, but obviously we'd like him back as soon as we can, because he's a big part of what we're trying to do here.
Everyone else okay?
Russ Penn's probably not right. He's got a little niggle that's just bothering him, so we'll have to look at it and see how he is today. He's going to have a scan, but apart from that, we're all fine.
Thank you. Good luck.
My pleasure.
Mark, as well as Keith Lowe's done a few of the games to come in, Steve Elliott's probably the biggest physical lad you got, isn't he?
Yeah.
Have you missed that? Do you think they missed that dominance?
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, and I think Keith, out of the 4 or 5 games that Keith's played, I think he's been our best player in 2 or 3 of them. You know, so he's done really well. We missed that balance of that left-footed centre half. That Stevie is a big presence. He's a big presence on the pitch. He's a big presence in the dressing room for us. Him and Benno have been great, but Keith and Benno have been very good as well. You know, they've had Barnett was unplayable. Tyrone Barnett was unplayable when we played Crawley. Scored 2 unbelievably good goals, showed what he's about, and he gave us a tough time. But you know, these 2 are both decent, experienced players, and I have no qualms about playing them. Or if I decide to go with Harry, you know, Keith's done a great job for us, and will continue to do so. It was tough for him on Saturday, going back to his former club where he probably didn't have the best of times. Son was, you know, they played with the hands like that for the first 45 minutes, and that's, I remember when I played in the, I used to hate it. You know, you're constantly worrying about, and we defended a bit deep, and we just invited them on. Once we all pressed up second half, and that slope, it's a tough place to go, Hereford, really tough place to go. Particularly for us, and you know, we coped a lot better second half, and Keith showed what a decent player he is.
Yep. Some clubs have turned up at the Aberbusiness Stadium recently and sort of shut up shop, but the run Torquay on, they probably should be a bit more open than that, wouldn't they?
They're an attack-minded team, very much. You know, they play a similar style to ourselves, formation-wise, and they get at you. You know, they've got players who want to play on the front foot, who want to get in the box and attack you, and you know that should make for a decent game. You know, if they do come and sit back, then it's up to us to try and break them down. But I don't see that parking the bus tactic being used by Torquay. They're in too much of a good form.
Yeah, some of the other top teams are playing each other in the next few weeks.
Exactly.
And drop points are going to be dropped.
Exactly. You know, Torquay took points off Shrewsbury. You can't worry about that. You always look at it. You're always mindful of it, but you just got to look after yourselves and make sure that you do everything that you can to make sure that you're at it.
Yeah. Do you think anyone else might be going out on loan, or you want to keep everyone here at the moment?
Yeah, at the minute we've only got sort of 18, 19 players at the minute. So you know, although we've got a good squad, it's still a small squad. So unless something happens that I think is really beneficial to somebody, we won't be doing anything before the weekend.
Yep. So it'll be the same squad as Hereford, but possibly without Russ Penn.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cheers, Mark.